Welcome back to my channel. I am the Portuguese Whisperer, and for today's video, I bring you all 3 creepy cabin in the woods stories. Story number 1. It was a dark and stormy night when I stumbled upon a hidden gem nestled deep within the dense forest. The cabin, known as Whispering Pines, had an ominous aura that sent shivers down my spine. Ignoring my instincts, I decided to spend the night there, unaware of the horrors that awaited me. As the night grew darker, strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispers echoed through the cabin's walls, as if the very foundation held secrets from a forgotten past. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, playing tricks on my mind. Every creak and groan of the old wooden floorboards sent my heart racing. It was then that I saw her, a ghostly figure, pale and ethereal, standing at the foot of my bed. Her eyes, hollow and filled with sorrow, pierced through my soul. Frozen with fear, I could only watch as she vanished into thin air, leaving behind an eerie silence that engulfed the cabin. Determined to uncover the truth, I delved into the cabin's history. It was said that Whispering Pines was once a place of refuge for a family torn apart by tragedy. Legend had it that the spirits of the deceased still roamed the premises, seeking solace or revenge. Armed with courage, I embarked on a journey to communicate with the spirits that haunted Whispering Pines. Through paranormal investigations, I attempted to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. But with each attempt, the malevolent presence grew stronger, testing the limits of my sanity. In a climatic turn of events, I found myself face to face with the vengeful spirit that had tormented me through the night. With trembling hands, I confronted the entity, demanding answers and offering peace. The cabin shook with fury as the spirit unleashed its wrath, but in the end, a resolution was reached. Story number 2. I was always fascinated by horror movies, especially those set in eerie cabins deep within the dark woods. Little did I know that one day I would find myself trapped in a genuinely terrifying tale. It was a cold winter evening when I stumbled upon a mysterious cabin, hidden amongst the trees in the heart of the forest. Curiosity sparked my desire to explore its haunted walls. Hesitant but intrigued, I pushed open the creaking door, and the scent of damp wood filled my nostrils. The interior was dimly lit by a flickering lantern, casting eerie shadows on the rustic furniture. As I cautiously stepped inside, a gust of wind slammed the door shut behind me. The sound echoed through the cabin. A sense of unease crept up my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Ignoring my instincts, I proceeded to explore each room. Strange symbols adorned the walls, their meaning hidden to my untrained eyes. I could not resist touching them, tracing my fingers along the cold, weathered paint. With each stroke, a chill ran through me, a sense of dread permeated the cabin's atmosphere. As I made my way upstairs, the floorboards groaned under my weight. The air grew dense, suffocating with each step. Suddenly, a portrait caught my eye, hanging crookedly on the wall. It depicted a woman, her face twisted in agony and despair. Her eyes seemed to follow me, which sent a shiver down my spine. Attempting to shake off the unsettling feeling, I continued, entering a room covered with cobwebs and tattered drapes. In a far corner, I noticed a small, dusty book that seemed out of place. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it cautiously. The pages were filled with cryptic writings, describing an ancient ritual that could summon unimaginable horrors. Stumbling across a specific passage, I read out loud the words etched in the archaic language. With each syllable that left my lips, the cabin shuddered and the lantern flickered wildly. Terrified by my own actions, I scrambled for the door, desperate to escape the looming danger. But as I twisted the doorknob, it refused to budge. Panic washed over me like a tidal wave, and the room began to twist and deform in my vision. Frantically, I returned to the book, hoping to find a way to undo what I had done. The words on the page had vanished, replaced by a chilling message. There is no escape. Embrace the darkness. As the walls closed in, I could hear whispers all around me, incoherent yet full of malevolence. The cabin seemed alive, tormenting me for my reckless intrusion. The air turned frigid, and I could see my breath misting in front of me. Time somehow slipped away as I lost my consciousness, overwhelmed by the ominous presence. When I regained my senses, I found myself laying on a cold forest floor, the cabin nowhere in sight. It was as if it had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace behind. Since that fateful night, I have never been able to forget the horrifying experience. The cabin remains a haunting memory, a reminder that some stories should never be explored. Story number 3. I never believed in the stories about the cabin in the woods until that fateful night. The tale had always circulated around our small town, warning us to stay away from the eerie building nestled deep within the thick forest. They said it was haunted, filled with the tormented souls of those who had dared to enter and never come out. Curiosity got the better of me when I stumbled upon an old, tattered journal in the town's historical archives. It chronicled the events of a family that had lived in the cabin generations ago. The entries grew darker and more disturbing with each page passing, detailing chilling experiences that sent shivers down my spine. Ignoring the warnings, I made up my mind to uncover the truth behind the legends. Armed with nothing more than a flashlight and my bravery, I ventured into the heart of the woods, determined to reach the cabin and explore its haunted past. The night was heavy, with an eerie silence as I trudged through the undergrowth, each crackle of leaves underfoot setting my nerves on the edge. Soon, the trees closed in around me, casting long, sinister shadows that danced menacingly. It felt like nature itself was conspiring against me, urging me to turn back. After what seemed like hours of trekking through the darkness, I caught sight of a faint light in the distance. My heart pounded with a mix of trepidation and excitement as I pushed forward, closer to the cabin that held so many secrets. The closer I got, the stronger the atmosphere became. The air grew cold and heavy, and an unnerving sense of being watched consumed me. Finally, I stood before the cabin, its wooden exterior worn by time and weather. It seemed to emanate an otherworldly presence, warning me to stay away. Summoning all my courage, I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The interior was just as eerie as the stories had described. Dust and cobwebs concealed the room, casting strange shadows across the worn floorboards. A sudden gust of wind howled through the cracks, extinguishing my flashlight. Panic coursed through my veins as darkness enveloped me. I fumbled for my phone and, with trembling hands, managed to illuminate the room once more. In that fleeting moment, a chilling sight met my eyes. Figures materialized from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. They moved towards me with an unnerving grace, whispering incoherent words that sent shivers down my spine. I turned to flee, only to find the doorway had vanished. Panic surged within me as the figures drew nearer. I stumbled backwards, tripping on a broken chair and crashing to the floor. In that desperate moment, the wooden walls began to groan and rap. As if waking from a long slumber, the cabin itself seemed to come alive, its morbid secrets unraveling before my eyes. With one final burst of adrenaline, I scrambled to my feet and tore through a hidden door that appeared to be in the back of the cabin. The air outside was heavy with relief, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I had narrowly escaped something truly wicked. To this day, I can't put my experiences at the cabin in the woods behind me. Those spirits, those restless souls that haunted the space so ferociously, taught me a valuable lesson. Some stories, no matter how terrifying, are best left undisturbed, hidden within the ancient pages of forgotten history. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more hair-raising stories. Until next time, stay curious and sleep tight if you can.